from the past year, we have been through with the coronavirus, but did you know, in fact, that in the modern history, there is one worst disastrous pandemic that have been occurred in the world back in the mid-30s. This, in fact, that the coronavirus and this worst pandemic history has been occurred in the much centuries ago, have made the uncountless billions of deaths. But did you know this pandemic, worst pandemic history that has been occurred in our human history, have recorded that one over third of the European population, which is equivalent to 25 million, have been dead, which is 4 times with the coronavirus death stats. This shows that how dreadful the pandemic it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now introduce to you the worst pandemic in the history of human being, which is the Black Death.
Hey, I'm Bob the Necromancer, and today we're doing an unboxing.
The video that you just watched is known as the Plague Doctor. The Plague Doctor is known well with their crow-looking mask, and some of the internet makers, especially during this modern days, always make the funny skits about this figure, or make what we call like the antagonist of the in the movie or in the short stories. But little did they know, this figure is important back then in the mid-30s, which they were as a doctor for the patient that have been infected by the Black Death. As a student myself, is fascinated with the general history like this, especially about health and science, which occur in the our world. And from this topic, I will present to you about how the history of this Black Death occurred between the timeline in the mid-30s and how it's related to our modern life, which is the COVID-19. I have go through all the journals, the articles, and the books to be presented to all of you about the worst pandemic in the history that will make you shocked and be goosebumps about when hearing it. First, we started with during the 1346, the bacteria strain, which is from the same scientific name, Eusneus pestis, emerged in the Mongol, caused by the Tarbagan mammoth. But you know what is the mammoth? Mammoth is the one kind of the rodent, which is from the species like mouse, like beaver, that have a small body and small cheek jaw teeth in their mouth. This what we call the strains of the bacteria is being stated in the book by John Kelly, which is The Great Mortality. In the November of 1347, the ship arrived at the France, which is precisely at the Marseille, brought by the Carthage ship docking that we mentioned earlier. With the infected from the ship dock, it has spread the plague spread across the country from the France, from the east to the west, from the north to the south. And not long after that, in summer 1348, the flagellum, which is the Zealots religious group, appeared in Germany. They known as the anti-Semitic, which is known as they are hateful towards the Jewish, and they have known for their what we call their evilness, their cruelty, that make some of the Jewish during the European European back then goes poof, vanish because of their anti-Semitism. And right after 1351, the plague fatally disappeared, leaves the massive debts to the European, which is around 70 millions of death. What we call about the causes of the what we call the Black Death, we can see through the spreadness, which is caused from the rodents, like I mentioned earlier. From the rodents, they spread the disease or flea to the human, and the bacterium causes is known as the Yersinia pestis, which is one of the bacterium that has been known for the Black Death. But during the Black Day, they have not encountered this Yersinia pestis, which is the bacteria is still unknown until it was discovered in 1990, which is discovered in 1894 by Alexander Yersin. It has three main forms, which is pneumonic, septicemic, and bubonic, as such, which is the receiver. When we get the Black Death, it causes the fever, headache, chills, weakness, and almost swollen, painful lymph nodes, which is called the buboes. Because of the Black Death has been what we call have been faded centuries ago. But we must not forget about the modern history of the pandemic, which is the coronavirus, which is kind of similar with the Black Death in terms of the what we call the pandemic itself, which kill millions of people, because the Black Death is the number one in the worst pandemic history. But we must know the other worst pandemic that has been occurred around the world, such as the Spanish flu occurs in the European back in the 60s. Spanish flu, influenza, which is the modern. I categorize it as a modern because nowadays it still have the influenza H1N1, and the latest, which is the coronavirus itself. Coronavirus, we can conclude that even the pandemic has been faked many days or many centuries ago, but the effect still on even in this modern era of the advanced medical technologies, because nowadays the antibacteria is easy to get, but doesn't mean it is effective to kill the cells that have been what we call polluted by the bacteria itself. Like coronavirus, even we have been vaccines with the types of vaccine, either Sinovac, Johnson Johnson, or Pfizer, but still some people affected with the coronavirus, even with their vaccines still have been in their body. In terms of their depopulation, we can conclude that the depopulation leads to economic resistance. That's, as I mentioned earlier, which cause the economic growth in certain countries become slower and slower. And back in the days, they cannot go to work. But in this modern day, we can see that the what we call nowadays, many people has lost their job in their company because of the cutting costs to give back their reputation and revenue for the company. It also make the agricultural production and demand is reduced because no one has to work, because and lastly, it gives awareness about how the population can give massacre to the human being that has been occurs in the modern history and bad days. To keep clean, stay safe, and stay humble with with me. My name is Amir Najwa, and that is your topic for today.